so our next bag is going to be bag number 7. This is going to be our chemical services bag. So in this bag, you're going to have a bottle, a color applicator bottle, and it's going to say bleach on one side, color on the other, and you can have Perm written on this same bottle, or you can have a different bottle for the next bag. It's going to be gel and water in this bottle. You're going to have a bowl. The bowl is going to say bleach and relaxer on it. A squeeze bottle of gel. Some gloves. You're going to have tail combs and all-purpose combs, some clips, and a color applicator brush. All right, so for your chemical service, your first section is going to be your front left quadrant, and you are going to be doing a virgin bleach application with your brush and bowl. In your bowl, you will have already put gel. This you'll put in when you're setting up. Since your bowl is gonna have a label that says bleach and relaxer on it, make sure the bleach label is facing out when you're doing the bleach. So now I'm gonna sanitize my hands. And then I'm going to put on a pair of gloves. Okay, so for my virgin bleach application, I'm going to be starting at the bottom of my section. So I'm going to take my brush, use my brush to part. You want to make sure your sections are 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And since you're doing a virgin bleach application, you're going to apply this about 1/2 inch from the root and 1/2 inch from the ends. You want your section to be thin enough that the bleach would be able to go through the section and fully be able to saturate. If your section was not saturated enough, then you would just pick up the section and check to see. If that's the case, I'm gonna flip it up and I'm just going to apply it on the underneath. But as long as your section is small enough, it should saturate through the whole entire section. You're going to continue the same process through this whole entire section. So 1/2 inch from the root, 1/2 inch from the ends. Make sure it fully saturates through the whole section. All right, so your next section is going to be your back left section. You're now going to be doing a retouch bleach application. So you're gonna take down your section, still make sure your bowl is facing bleach. And what you're going to do for this section is make sure that you're applying it on the root, but you're not applying it to the scalp because the bleach will swell. So I'm going to take a section, apply this at the root, but not on the scalp. Flip over. Take another section. Same thing, 1/4 to 1/2 inch. And you're just gonna continue this through the whole entire section. All right, so your next section is going to be the right front quadrant, and you're going to be starting with a bleach retouch application with your bottle. So have the bleach portion be facing out, and then the top half of that section will be a color application, a retouch with the bottle as well. So I'm gonna drop my section. So I'll have my section clipped up out of the way. Now I'm doing bleach, so make sure that that is facing outwards. Put that Again, at the root, not on the scalp. And use the bottle to blend it down. Then I'm gonna take down my next section. Use my bottle to part the hair. And make sure when you're brushing it, you brush it just down. You don't want to go up and down. And then once you've made it halfway up, now you're going to switch to the color retouch application with the bottle. And I'll show you what that'll look like, but it's gonna look basically the same as that bleach application. All you're gonna make sure you do is turn that bottle so color is facing outwards. Finish that up the whole section. And that's it for the retouch applications with the bottle. All right, so the back right section is going to be a relaxer application. You're going to start at the nape of the neck. So the nape is going to be your virgin relaxer application. Okay, so your virgin relaxer application, you're gonna apply 1/2 inch from the root and 1/2 inch from the ends. So you're gonna take your section, 1/2 inch from that root, and 1/2 inch from those ends. And then you're going to take your comb and take the back of the comb, and you're going to smooth out the hair, flip it over, and smooth out the hair. And then drop your section. You're gonna go through, and you're gonna do this virgin relaxer application through that bottom portion of that back right quadrant. So for smoothing, smooth, and then smooth. And finish that up to about midway for that virgin relaxer. That top right section is going to be a relaxer retouch application. Apply this at the root, again, not directly on the scalp. Same thing. Take your comb, smooth out the root, smooth out that root. And then you're gonna keep doing this process through that whole top section. So I'll do it one more time. And that is it for your relaxer application. Now you are done with your chemical services, so you'll remove your gloves and sanitize your hands. All right, so now we are going to be moving on to bag number 8. This is going to be your skateboard set bag. So in this bag, you can have some extra gel if you need it. The hair will already have a lot of gel in it from doing the color previously. You're gonna have a bottle labeled Perm, unless you use the one from your last bag. 5 rollers, some double prong or pin curl clips, cotton, end papers, gloves, perm rods, and some tail and all-purpose combs. And then, as usual, make sure all your stuff is organized neatly. All right, so for your skateboard set, you're gonna start, as usual, sanitize hands. And now you're gonna begin with your rollers. You're gonna do 4 rollers on the top section in a mohawk. Typically, you will use red ones, determine the size based off of your mannequin's hair. So always make sure you are measuring your rollers. Use the length of the roller to determine the length of your section and the diameter to determine the width of the section. And you want them to be center, so use the nose as your guide if needed. And again, make sure we have nice, clean partings. And always measure your roller. When you're measuring it, measure it just a tiny bit smaller so the hair doesn't overflow off the sides. I'm just making sure my section is nice and straight and that it doesn't get wider as it goes farther back on the head. Because as the head curves, sometimes that does happen. All right, so now that I have my mohawk section, I'm now gonna begin with my rollers. So I take my roller right up to that hairline, rock it back, and I'm gonna use the diameter to determine how wide this section is gonna be from hairline back. Make sure my section is nice and straight. Now these are gonna be on base rollers. So you're gonna over direct the hair forward a little bit. Make sure it is nice and smooth. Make sure those ends are on the roller, nice and smooth. And then you're gonna put 1 clip on each side. And then you're going to continue this and do 3 more. And use your first roller as a guide to create the others. All right, so now that you have finished your 4 rollers, you're going to move on to your perm rods. Perm rods are going to be on the left side of the head. So you're going to use your perm rod to determine the size of your section, same way you did your roller. So take your perm rod, check the section. It's normally about the back of the ear. And then you're going to use the diameter to determine how wide your section is going to be. And now your perm rods, there are a few things that you just want to make sure you know. You don't want them to be completely on base. You want them to be half on, half off, so you don't want to over direct the hair too far. And when you're wrapping them, you don't want to have it so it clips in the back, because when you unclip it, it would smack somebody in the face. So you want it so it clips in the front. And you want to make sure you're using your end papers. All right, so for your end papers, brush the hair where you want it to be. And then you're going to take one end paper and another, and you're gonna sandwich these two end papers right on the hair. It may be a little bit sticky because there's some gel in your hair from before, but no worries. It might make it a little bit easier for you. So take these end papers, slide them to the ends of the hair. If they feel like they're gonna fall, you can spray them with some water. You're gonna take your perm rod, make sure all of those ends are in those end papers, and then you're gonna start rolling. And make sure when you're rolling, rock it side to side. That way the hair is evenly distributed throughout the whole rod. The first one you have to kind of tuck under those clips, and then just make sure that that elastic is not going directly over where the root is. It's just going across the top. And then you will continue this down that whole left section. All right, so now on the right side, we're now going to do our pin curls. So you're gonna start by brushing the hair into a C shaping. So brush this all back into that C. Nice and smooth. Then to section it, you're gonna go from the back of the third to the corner of the eye for the front, and then the back section is gonna be the back of the fourth to the front of the ear. So I like to put my finger where the corner of the eye is. And just part this right to there. Then I take my C without disturbing it, and I flip it up out of my way just for a second, so I could take this back section from the back of the fourth to the front of the ear, and then I brush this to smooth this out and brush that back and flip that up. Now for my pin curls, I'm gonna do 3 in the front. These are going to be placed with a horizontal part. So they're gonna lay, the parting is gonna look like that underneath. So I have 1, and 2. Try not to disturb that C too much. So I'll take this, flip that up, and then my other section, flip that up. Now I'm gonna show you how to do the pin curl. So I hold where my C shaping is gonna be, smooth out this hair so it's nice and smooth. Then I take my thumb and I ribbon the hair, kind of like how you do with scissors and a ribbon. Make sure this is one piece, nice and smooth. And now I'm gonna start wrapping it from those ends. And you want your end to be nice and smooth and tucked underneath. You don't want that end to pop out. So if you need more gel at this time to make sure that stays in place, you can obviously use more gel. And this pin curl is just gonna sit right in that C shaping. And that front section, you start at the bottom and work up. So your clips go the same way. They start at the bottom and they point up, and then your back section, you start at the top and go down, and those clips will face that direction. And you section these pin curls and wrap them the opposite direction. So these ones are counterclockwise, these ones are clockwise. So now we're going to be doing the finger waves on the back of the head. So you're gonna start with creating a C on the back of the head. Typically, I like to use the finer teeth of my all-purpose comb. Gets the hair a little bit smoother. So I create my C. And with the C, if my C is going this way, I think of it as like a cul-de-sac. So if my cul-de-sac is this way, I can't go into the cul-de-sac to get out. I have to go that way to get out. So if this is my C, I have to go this direction. All right, so now to create the actual wave, I like to use the wider teeth of the comb. I'm going to place 2 fingers at the top of the section, and I like to use the wider side of my comb for this. And you're gonna drag your comb to the right, only till the tip of your finger, don't go any past that. Place my hands on top of that ridge, and now I'm going to smooth out that hair underneath. And I'm going to smooth it in the opposite direction. Place my comb here to just gently peel my fingers off, and then move to the right. Same thing. And I just wanna make sure that I connect this to my previous ridge. Place my fingers on top, brush down, peel off, and I'm gonna continue across this section. All right, so once you have completed your skateboard set, you'll have your finger waves in the back, and then at the bottom of the finger waves, you will have some ridge curls, so pin curls underneath those ridges. And then you're going to have to put the perm solution on. So taking a look at our skateboard set. So to put on the perm solution, you're going to wrap cotton around those perm rods. Then you're gonna put on gloves. And then you are going to use your bottle that is labeled perm. And then you're going to take the perm solution and you're going to apply it at the top of the rod, lift up, underneath. So top, underneath. And that's it for the skateboard set. Now once you're all done, you're gonna take off your gloves, sanitize your hands, and move on to the next bag. All right, now on to the last bag. This is gonna be bag number 9. This is our nail bag. So in our nail bag, we are going to have multiple different files. Then we're gonna have some tips and nail glue, our nail polish remover, cotton, some wood sticks with cotton just in case the polish gets somewhere we don't want it to, and a bright or dark color polish. This portion you're gonna be doing on your own hand, on 3 fingers. Today I'm gonna demonstrate it for you on Miss Nicole, but when you go for your exam, you will be doing this on your own hand. So, first thing you're going to do before you start your nail service is sanitize your hands. So I'm gonna sanitize my hands, and then we are going to be using Miss Nicole's hand today instead of mine. And I'm going to open up my nail polish remover. I'm gonna take my polish remover, put some on my cotton, close my nail polish remover. Then I'm gonna take this between 2 fingers, and I'm going to hold and swipe, hold, and swipe. Remove any polish. Now you're going to be mocking this on yourself. So if you're doing it on yourself, that's okay. You're just mocking it. So now, once I have removed all the polish, I'm going to file one nail for a manicure, one for a pedicure, and one for a tip application. So for my pedicure, I'm gonna use the thumb. So for the thumb, you're just going to file side to side. So the pedicure is side to side. Then once I'm done with the pedicure, I will dispose of my file. Then for the manicure, I'm gonna file corner to center, corner to center. So corner to center, corner to center, corner to center, corner to center, dispose. And then for my tip application, I'm going to gently file the top of the nail. You just wanna give it a little bit so that way the tip will stick. Dispose of my file. Now I'm going to have multiple tips. One is already going to be fitted to their nail. So I'm gonna take out my tips. And you're just gonna mock, checking to see if it'll fit. So check. Nope, that one won't fit. This one. All right, this one's gonna fit. So I'm gonna take my nail glue, open up my nail glue, take the glue, put a drop in the well. Then you're going to take the tip and you're gonna take that well right up to the edge of their nail and then rock that on. Hold that, and that's your tip application. Once I have completed my filing and my tip applications, I'm now going to polish one nail. When you're polishing, you're gonna polish center to corners. So center, left, right, or center, right, left. When you take your polish, you're going to rock it to mix up the color, and then I'm going to polish the one nail. They may ask you to polish all three, but you have to do at least one. So now I'm just going to take one nail and I'm gonna go center, side, side. If I got any polish on my cuticle or my skin, then I would just take my wood stick with my cotton, put a little bit of nail polish remover on it, and just clean up those sides. Once I am completed, I will sanitize my hands. And then once I have completed every single section of the exam, the most important thing, clean everything up, dispose of anything that needs to go in the garbage. Everything that goes in sanitation goes in sanitation, and then make sure that you are wiping down your station completely once you've completed and checking the floor and sweeping up any extra hair if there's any there. That's it.